And
And the sprinkling.
This is it. This is the scripture where they talk about sprinkling as a means of baptism.
okay.
And then there's other parts where there's the pouring out of water, where they poured out the water on David's head. And then the baptism of John the Baptist, where he takes you in the water and dunks you. So all three baptisms they're adequate. I don't see any reason why there should be differentiation or argument about it.
Well, but we know when it's left up to us to interpret,
Yeah,
that's where we get those.
yeah.
And I think that's why some Christian denominations say that immersion is the only baptism, because that's how John the Baptist did it, and that's how Jesus was baptized.
Mhm.
But we do see, like Red said, all three types. So all three are valid. We should never look at the practices of other denominations and say they're wrong,
Yeah.
because it's all in Scripture. So we should try not to be that legalistic.
Yeah.
In verse 7, it kind of made me scratch my head when it said shave their whole bodies.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I kind of
ouch.
left that alone when I thought about it.
Left that alone?
Mhm.
Okay. I like your thoughts
I didn't
there.
wanna go there.
I love that.
Yeah, I couldn't find any reason. All I can think of is
To make sure they had no lice.
maybe lice, maybe make sure that you were smooth to get the soap going. Who knows?
Well, we don't know how hairy they were either. I mean,
Right.
they could have been a hairy tribe.
Right.
Yeah,
So
they
we-
could have been like big red hairy babies,
Esau.
like Esau.
Right, exactly.
We don't
Just,
know.
we don't know.
We have no idea.
And we don't know what they constituted, a lot of hair versus, you know.
I'm
Yeah.
just glad I have my shirt on, so I don't have to explain it.
Okay, and they had to wash their clothes. Don't forget about washing.
Yeah,
their
washing clothes is good.
And so they would purify themselves. So, and we read about the water of cleansing, and there was even a process to create the water of cleansing, and we're going to see that in Numbers 19, where they took a red heifer, of course without defect or blemish, and has never been under the yoke, so it's never been put to work. It's slaughtered, and then the ashes are reserved for this use of mixing with water to make the water of cleansing. So even that was special water and took special labor
Like lava
to get
soap.
ready. Yeah, like lye.
My
No,
dad,
yeah,
my
that'd be
dad used
kinda-
lava
That'd be
on
kind
his,
of hard on
after he
your
worked.
skin. Hard on your
Yeah.
skin.
But that was just the water
Got
of
the grease
cleansing.
off.
So
Well, yeah.
there may not have, it may not have been in bar form. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Yeah, lava, do they even sell lava?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of mechanics would use it because it's, and they
Oh,
even have it
yeah.
in liquid form now.
Yeah.
It'll clean
At least-
all the gunk
Mm-hmm.
off.
Yeah, that was even better than
Gritty,
Gojo.
isn't it?
Yeah, very gritty.
Because lava had the grit in it.
It's like pumice, yeah.
Pumice.
Right. And that's the only thing that would get the oil out of, well, sometimes it would, even that wouldn't get the oil out of your skin.
My dad was a lava
Dawn
user.
will take the enough oil.
Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dawn's great at getting oil.
I didn't see too many guys soaking their hands in Dawn.
No, that was Palmolive with Midge, the
Yeah.
the hairdresser.
Oh,
And,
yes.
and we digress.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry. Going from lava to Paul, yeah.
Right, right.
So this
Yes, Gary?
water of cleansing versus living water and just regular water.
Mm-hmm.
Did they boil it first, that it was extra pure, or?
No, they just mixed it with the ashes from the red heifer.
So it wasn't clean water?
Well,
It probably was clean
it was
water
probably
to
clean,
begin with.
but it just had the ashes in there, so how dirty would that make it?
Ashes.
Last year.
Ashes
was the,
float,
water
don't they
for
float?
The adulterous
Yeah.
woman supposedly.
Right,
It's
with the
some-
ashes from the...
some do
That's
it
how you
separate.
make
Floor.
soap, isn't it? Don't you soak water through
I don't know, I don't mix
the
soap.
ashes?
That's to make lye soap.
Yeah.
That's to make lye soap?
To make
So
soap,
there-
you need lard and lye.
Lard, okay. So basically, these guys are getting washed with lye soap.
That hurts.
Well, but it was just the water.
It was
So-
just, it was,
It would depend how
It
concentrated.
would-
it was.
okay.
Right. Maybe it's only
It
one
could make
heifer,
it
not
somewhat
two.
of lye soap, but
We don't
it depends
know.
how much water they put in it.
Yeah, we don't know the strength of that lye.
No.
Anyway, okay, verse
Maybe that's why they had
9,
to shave it.
where it
to
says
stick to their
the assemble of the whole
Yes,
Israelite
also
community,
sometimes.
most commentaries expect it was just the elders of the community, instead of all those millions gathering for this ceremony. And verse 11, Aaron is to present the Levites before the Lord as a wave offering. Now, the wave offering was made by the Jewish priests as a solemn special presentation to God, which God then released that object to the use of those involved in the sacrifices. So this is pretty deep right here. So Aaron is presenting the Levites before the Lord as a wave offering. He's offering them to God, and then God, after God consecrates them, he releases the Levites back to Aaron and his sons for use in the tabernacle. So just those words right there, wave offering, means a lot more than we just think it does.
In your notes, wave offering, sheath offering, and omer offering, those I'd never heard of before. But all of those kind of came out from Leviticus.
Yeah.
All of those were brought up.
We had the wave offering. That's when they took the pigeon and split them in half. They made a wave offering of that. So if we were to look back. And of course, Jesus was lifted up as an offering to God, which God then released back to us for our good use.
No bones broken.
And
Okay.
no bones broken. It's just amazing the way Leviticus and Numbers ties to the New Testament. You know, that we can even take it back to the pigeons where their bones weren't broken, they were just split. Just incredible. Verse 14, in this way you are to set the Levites apart from the other Israelites, and the Levites will be mine. And we know that the Levites, they became set apart because that was the only tribe that stood alongside Moses in the golden calf incident. Remember, they were the ones that came alongside Moses, and Moses told them, you need to go through the camp and get rid of your brothers and
Oh,
sisters.
okay, he was there, his
Right.
army.
Yep.
So they became the firstborn
Yes,
And the
they
last
became the
chapter they had-
firstborn in exchange.
to pay off when they didn't have enough
Yep.
to go around.
And then in verse 19, from among all the Israelites, I have given the Levites as gifts to Aaron and his sons to do the work at the tent of meeting on behalf of the Israelites. So that's where God releases the Levites back to Aaron and the Aaronite priests. And to make atonement for the Israelites so that no plague will strike the Israelites when they go near the sanctuary. Remember, the Levites were the tribe that was laid out directly around the sanctuary so the other Israelites couldn't get in. Because if the other Israelites went into the tabernacle, they would of course be killed. So the Levites served two purposes.
There had to be a lot of order to be able to bring a sacrifice eventually.
Yeah.
You just couldn't show up and say, okay, I'm
No.
ready to have my sacrifice done.
Yeah. Because they bring, the person brings their sacrifice according to the rules. They bring it to the priest has to make the judgment, is it good enough? And then it could go in and then actually get sacrificed.
They must have had a line outside the door.
Probably a real long line, yeah.
And maybe they only took so many a day, and then after that, it was...
They probably had a cutoff,
Yeah, otherwise you'd be
But-
standing in line
but they
all
probably
day.
wouldn't want
Days.
to exclude too many people because the people would want to be forgiven of their sins before they went to sleep. So that'd have to be a pretty tough day.
Yeah. The wait from this point is
Well,
2 hours, like the Disneyland line.
Eventually Moses took advice and let other people
Right,
deal with problems,
yeah.
so it was probably broken down.
Based on the wisdom of his father-in-law Jethro,
Mhm.
helped him out. And then in beginning of verse 23, we get the age group. This applies to the Levites. Men 25 years or old or more shall come to take part in the work of the tenth of the meeting. But at the age of 50, they must retire from the regular service and work no longer. They could still assist their brothers in performing their duties, but they themselves must not do the work. So what happened is at 25, you first went into the process. Then they had training, probably by the guys who were over 50. And then at age 30, they went into actual service. At age 50, they stopped.
Must really been pretty strenuous to burn out in 25 years.
Yeah.
Said that their work was involved heavy lifting of all those animals and things, can you imagine?
And the tear down and the setup,
It's a labor of love.
yeah. And in footnote related to verse 25, the retirement age 50 was practical, just like you guys mentioned, not theological. It was all related to how much the guys could do, because their work involved heavy lifting. Okay. And then
So it
we-
was forced retirement at 50?
Yeah.
Oh,
Age
Yeah.
discrimination, complete age.
They
Well-
did not completely retire.
Right.
No.
No, they did light duty work, it looks
So
like.
light duty work, and then they became the mentors,
Yeah.
which is not a bad way to go. You know, because we know from
Teachers.
the teachers or the mentor program, or even, what do they call it? Back in the Middle Ages, apprenticeships.
stewardship.
How
Oh, no.
useful those things are. Even now, we use them for electricians and for plumbers. You
Mhm.
serve your apprenticeship, you learn how to do the job on the job, and you get paid a little bit, you learn a skill, and you don't have the debt of college.
Those who can't do manage.
Well,
I
they-
prefer to look at it a different way.
Yeah, I was
Those
gonna
who
say-
really know how to do it,
Yeah.
Manage.
Manage, yeah.
It's about an education, if you can't
They
teach,
already-
become a principal.
Yeah.
Become a principal.
and hopefully you rise up through the ranks, but that doesn't always happen.
No.
I'm sorry, that's,
No, that's okay. You want to turn off that camera real quick?